Maayong adlaw. My name is Janine.
My name is John.
Hi, I'm Cherry.
My name is Mary Rose.
My name is JR.
And welcome to
The Pod Pointe.
Season 2!
What is up, everybody? This is your boy John Resty, and welcome to the Pod Pointe Season 2, Episode 4. Let's go! Woo! And today, I am joined by my fellow hosts. We have JR.
Hello,
All
hello.
right, and we have Mary Rose.
Hi, everyone. Good
All right,
day.
so how you guys been?
It's a very chill day today. Very honored again to be part of this ministry here at our Cross Point Church.
All right.
You
How about
might.
you, Mary Rose? How are you?
I'm doing good.
All right, cool. And yeah, why don't we get straight into it, guys? And it's about mental health. Ooh, big word. And for today's episode, since mental health is such a broad topic, we're going to start off with stress. And for today, we have a very special guest. But instead of me introducing her to you guys, we would give her the floor to introduce herself to you. So why don't we give a round of applause to Chi-Chi. Woo!
Hi,
Welcome,
Ate
Chi-Chi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence here at Pod Pointe.
Thank you so much. Well, my name is Chichi, and I am born. Okay,
You're doing fine. You're doing
Yeah.
fine. It's okay. Take your time.
yeah, I'm from Nigeria, and yeah, from Nigeria.
From Nigeria. All right. Cool.
Yes.
And how long have you been here in the Philippines?
I've been here for 3.5 years now.
3.5 years. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. And how's it been so far?
It's been good.
All right. What's one thing that has stuck in your mind when you say, or yeah, when you came here,
You mean when I came or just now?
or from the time you came, or up until now? Like, what is one highlight that you can share to us?
I think I would say hospitality.
Hospitality.
Yes.
All right, cool. Thank you. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence here
Thank
in the
you.
Pod Point studio. Char.
Yes.
And yeah, the reason why we chose Chi-Chi as our guest for today's topic is because she's an expert in this field. Is it safe to say that?
Well, I wouldn't say an expert, but I would say it's just in line of what I am studying or have studied.
All right, awesome. All right, so why don't we get into it, guys? So I'd like to kick it off,
Yeah.
Chi-Chi. So, yeah, once again, guys, today's topic is specifically targeted to our young adults. We're going to talk about stress, how to recognize stress, and how to cope with stress. So, with the first question, I'd like to ask, can you share to us the simplest way to understand what is stress and how to recognize that you are stressed?
So I think, stress is when you are in a state of worry. It is also when you have an overwhelming feeling of negative emotions that you can't handle. So it's really being in that constant state of worry and not having the sense of peace.
Is it all so sort of like the root cause of it all? It starts with worry,
Yeah.
and since it's worry, guys, just like to ask the question to you: what is worrying you now?
I think for now, I think what's worrying me is how to deal with tomorrow. I think one of the pinnacles of being a person is to worry about the future, which is not necessarily a not necessarily a bad thing per se, but it's also about thinking or ordering yourself on what to do next. How about you, Maria?
Me, I usually worry on what I say. Like if what I'm about to say is something that would make someone stumble, or yeah, that's why I'm so cautious of that. But I don't usually worry a lot. But before, I think I experience worrying a lot, and it's on a daily basis because I experience being diagnosed of a certain disease or illness. So, and I think it affected really my mental health. And I back then I did not realize that it's already affecting me mentally, emotionally. But yeah, but because of that hurdle in my life, I was able to really um I'm able to kanang what's the word?
Overcome,
um
manage.
I don't I because of that I don't worry a lot anymore. Yeah. I'm able to manage my worries and anxieties now. I still have worries, but um I I'm able to manage them well now. And by the grace of God, of course. Left on my own, I cannot do it.
Amen.
So in relation to what Ate Chichi said now about stress, is it's overwhelming with anxiety and fear and worry, right? There are allow me to express or to give out scientific information lang with regards to what happens inside our brain and body when we encounter stressor.
Interesting.
Okay, so first thing is that we have to acknowledge that we have a sympathetic nervous system. So our sympathetic nervous system is part of the autonomic nervous system where it's responsible for our flight or fight reactions. So when stressor comes in, it's either we fight against stressor or we fight against or away from the stressor. So that's one of the things that currently is what we will be experiencing whenever we encounter a stressor. And next is we have the HPA axis.
So-
What was that again?
Anybody has a tissue?
But basically, what it does is, I mean, HPA stands for hypothalamus and hypothalamus, pituitary, and our adrenal cortex. So what happens is when we encounter stressors, the hypothalamus stimulates our pituitary gland. Okay, so it releases or triggers a hormone called ACTH. ACTH stands for adrenocorticotropic hormone. It's a lot, but basically it's a major body stress hormone that we release when we encounter stress, right? And then it travels the pituitary, then stimulates our adrenal glands. So adrenal glands is mainly responsible for producing what we call corticosteroids, and then this is part of our stress hormone now called as cortisol. So cortisol is our stress hormone that is released in our body, and then once it's released in our adrenal glands, it will go back to our brain and then into the body. So that's how the HPA axis and our sympathetic nervous system work together when we encounter stressor. So a bit about scientific background lang of what happens in our brain, in our body, when we encounter stress.
Does it make sense to say that everything, including stress, anxiety, it's all in the mind?
Well, not necessarily, I guess. I think it's part of how we live lang as a human. It's how we survive through difficult challenges,
There
difficult
are
stressors.
triggers.
Yeah. There are definitely triggers, for
How,
sure.
how about you, Chichu? With her question, what's your take on her question about stress being just in the mind, right?
Yeah, we keep on hearing that phrase. It's all in the mind.
I wouldn't say it's all in the mind. because it's also how we survive
Yeah, exactly.
things that are difficult
Mhm.
that happens to us. So again, depending on how much resources you have as an individual, depends on how much you are affected by stress. So when people have more resources and have ability to cope with more things, they can be able to discharge that stress and their body does the work. And but also when people don't have a lot of resources, that could be the resources. I mean, could be good things going on in their life, a good family home, a restful place, or all of the good things you need to be a healthy person. You know, when that is present, you are able to handle the stress more. But when that is not, it becomes much more difficult. So it's not just in the mind. You know, it's also how you survive difficult situations.
Based on the experiences
Yes.
in the past. Right.
Yeah.
True. Right.
Makes
Thank you so
sense.
much for sharing, guys. See, I knew this was going to be a very exciting topic because,
A very serious
yeah,
topic.
after just one question, it opened up several
Yep.
other questions. And
Yeah.
thank you for that, guys. And by the way, for those who do not know, if you were in awe after listening to JR, just to let you guys know, he's our
Nosebleed.
resident psychometrician
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
team.
Yes.
So,
Psychometrician.
Wow.
hence the reason why he knows a lot of terms and terminologies. But yeah, enough of that. At least it's good to know. But yeah, why don't we proceed to the next question?
All right, the next question for you, Ate Chichi, is: do students get stressed out because of the pressure to succeed in life? And what could be a good approach that a student can take when they encounter these kind of situations, distressed situations?
Well, I think that it is a yes that students get pressure from stress or the pressure to succeed. And I think that is rooted in the expectations and the
Agree.
family background that you come from. So there are people who are from a family that they have to perform, and or individuals that have the professionistic tendencies to succeed, then there's not a lot of grace given to themselves. But again, it's also society and what you see with other people, what success looks like to them. So I think it's not. It's just really there are many factors that put a lot of pressure. But yes, there is a lot of pressure young people face today to succeed, and that is also causing them a lot of stress. They are not able to have a lot of joy in the things that they are doing because they're, for example, a family wants you to succeed, to be a doctor. That's a lot of stress put on you to succeed. And that oftentimes is hard for people to really enjoy what they are doing.
Yeah, that's true. I have to agree with that because I've actually seen a lot of my friends or people during my student years, a few years, not a long time, a few years ago, that they felt pressured, not because not only because they want to learn, but because they it's sort of like their family has set a certain standard in which they have to be able to achieve in order for them to feel loved
Yes.
by their parents.
Yeah. I was talking to someone just recently, and she told me that, I love playing golf, but now I don't enjoy it anymore because I have to perform, because my dad wants me to perform. And so, and because he wants me to become good at it, because he sees potential in it. But then I was doing it for fun in the beginning. Now I have to do it to succeed. And that brings a lot of stress and resentment in her.
Yeah, and I do believe we have listeners here who are going through what we've just discussed now. So, what do you
Yes.
think could be a good approach that a student can take when they encounter this situation?
I mean, I think there are many, many approaches that can be used to tackle stress. But I think it's really some of the things you can do is being able to eat and exercise, eat well and exercise. Um, Now, stress is being in a constant state of worry.
Mm.
So it also means that your nervous system is not calm.
Yeah.
And so being able to exercise and eat properly helps that you can physically discharge that stress, or you can be able to help yourself to relax, to just let go of whatever that is. So I think that we underrate the importance of exercise, but it's so important to exercise and to eat well. And sleep, sleep, and sleep.
Mm.
Very
Yeah.
practical.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember hearing that exercise is very beneficial because it secretes this substance.
Endorphins?
Correct me if I'm wrong, JR. Melatonin? Was it? No, not
melatonin
melatonin.
is a sleep
Endorphin?
hormone.
Endorphins?
Endorphin,
It's
right?
a feel-good hormone. So
Mm.
it's a type of neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure in terms of like if you said, like when we exercise, we do physical activities, and then it increases our heart rate. Therefore, the body then stimulates these kinds of neurotransmitters for our body to achieve homeostasis. Homeostasis is the equilibrium of equilibrium of the body. So our body is constantly striving for homeostasis.
Yeah.
That's the scientific term for that.
I should have bought a pen and paper. I couldn't remember. I think that was the third or fourth big word you just said today.
Oh, but really,
Equilibrium na lang.
Homeostasis, right?
homeostasis.
Homeostasis.
Yeah. But really, going back to Ate Chichi's point, is that stress is not necessarily a bad thing, right? We need stress for us to perform in certain way,
Mm.
in a healthy way.
Mm.
And then, if it's too overwhelming, that's when it's bad for you.
Yes.
Let's say, for example, when you exercise, there's stress in your body. There's an
Yes.
increase in heart rate,
Mm.
right? And then there's an increase in respiration. But what is bad on severe stress is that when you are like walking on a pedestal, like what Pastor
Res.
Res told us earlier, diba?
Yeah.
That's when you can really know or understand that you are in a distress.
Mm.
Ate Chichi mentioned there's types of stress, right? Can you
Yes.
mention? Can you
Yes.
explain to us that?
There is, chronic stress and acute stress. So acute being one event that has caused you stress, and oftentimes it can stay for a couple of months and it goes away. And then chronic is really something that has been there for over a period of time. And then that means that that person is like when you're chronically sick.
Yeah.
That's, there is a chronically, you're
okay.
stressed
Mm.
for a very long time. And I think there is also the presence of trauma,
Mm.
involved with when there is a chronic stress and also acute stress. So
Yeah.
trauma and stress goes in hand
Yeah,
in hand.
yeah. I was about to ask you that, but you just answered for me. Yeah. Wow. It's crazy to think how stress could lead from one thing to another.
I mean, I think, that when for example, when there is a presence of trauma, it already brings stress.
Okay.
Yes. But we're talking about the mental health, so that's a whole different
It's
topic.
a whole different, yeah. See,
Yeah.
guys, if you're enjoying something, you never know it. You might lead like off track. So thank you for keeping us back, getting us
Yeah.
back on track, Chichi.
But it's more like knowing that there is, an event that happens in someone's life that causes them stress, or they have been stressed for a very long period of time.
It's an overwhelming stress.
Yes.
Wow.
That's how like soldiers from wars currently experiencing right now.
Post-traumatic
PTSD.
stress
Yeah,
disorder.
yeah.
Or
It's one of the
PTSD.
things because in the DSM-5, the Diagnostics and Statistical Manual for Mental Health Disorders
Yes.
is, so they characterize or they define trauma as something that is so overwhelming
Yes.
that the person cannot get away with.
Yeah, too fast, too soon.
Yeah. So it's hard for people who actually is diagnosed with PTSD. I think, and one of the great modern psychologists, Dr. Jordan Peterson, explained how this kind of happens and how to treat it. So one of the ways he explained is there needs to be a voluntary retrieval of the memory, so it shouldn't be triggered. That's how I think one of the ways to treat PTSD. But this is according to him, not me. I'm just reiterating or like paraphrasing what the words that he said in relation to trauma.
Yes.
See, guys, see how broad mental health is.
Overwhelmed.
Even
It's
just the
big.
topic of stress has so many different branches. But let's try not to get off track again. So why don't we
Yes.
proceed to the next question? I do have another one for you, Chi Chi. I think this one is pretty self-explanatory, but we want to hear your thoughts about it. But is social media a major source of stress in young adults? Are young people vulnerable to it because they compare themselves to others?
Oh, yes.
Big yes.
Yeah, it is. Social media is a big source of stress. And I think, I mean, it can go in different areas. It could be just seeing someone else succeeding in their life and you feel like you are not.
Mm,
Or seeing, yeah, just seeing that someone has something you don't.
mm,
There's a lot of people who flaunt a lot of things they have on social media. And there are people who feel like, oh, why is it that they have that I don't have that?
mm,
Or people who have succeeded in life. So I think social media is a big source of stress for young people because sometimes it makes you feel like you are less than.
mm,
You're comparing your success to other people.
Yes. And that makes the person feel like, oh, I'm less than that person. I've put all the work, I've studied, I've done this, but why can't I have the same success as they do? So in that way of thinking, it causes a lot of stress because you're not able to see the goodness in your own life. So I think that with social media, you have to tread carefully for yourself, protecting your mental health and being okay with who you are as a person and what you have.
True. How about you guys? Considering that it's a big yes from Chi Chi, have you experienced stress due to social media? How about you, Mary Rose?
Me,
Mm.
I sometimes I tend to like um h- compare myself with what others have,
Mm.
especially those na classmates back in college, or
Mm.
those that are already establishing their own business, their own family. They
Mm.
have this achievements in life, but I just rest on God's word. Na
Mm.
we have different timelines,
True.
and success is not what the world defines it to be,
Mhm.
but success is what God says. And for
Mm.
me, having to serve in this church, having to um, um, be with fellow believers, for me,
Mm.
that's success for me, and that's why
Mm.
I have this contentment in my life and satisfaction, and I just rest on God's
Mm.
promises
Mm.
that I am not left behind. I am just perfectly fine.
Yeah, true. And it perfectly correlates to the preaching earlier this morning, right? Where
Yes, yes.
Punic mentioned God's sovereign intention is far more greater than our own dreams, right?
Yes.
Because God's timing is always perfect.
Yeah.
It's never late. It's never
Never
early.
too early.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And yeah, I just can't stop thinking about it. Everything that we go through is not in vain, as per
Yeah. It's very
Pastor Nick.
comforting to
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I think it's as well being okay with yourself, being content with who you are. Personally, when I look at social media, um, I feel like I don't need to compare myself to other people. You know, I have come to the place in my life where I don't have to have what you have.
Mm.
True.
If you have this, that's good for you. I'm happy for you, but I don't have to. That has taken away the pressure to feel like I need to have what others have, and I think that is so important for us young people or young adults, is to just be okay with what you have
Mm.
and trust God, in your life that He will give you the things that you need. Um, and just know that who you are as a person is enough.
Mm.
Yeah.
You are enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're enough. Yeah.
Yeah. But as humans as we are, sometimes it's easier said than done.
Yes.
So would you say it would be best for those people who are having challenges with a certain area or aspect in their life? Would you say it would be best to go through a social media detox from time to time? Or what would be the best approach whenever you get into this certain situation?
And I think it will be more for you if you know that social media is a big trigger for you, then you should put appropriate measure to protect yourself.
I
So,
agree.
for example, if drinking alcohol makes you to sin, then you should not drink. So it's really, I mean, that's just an example. I'm not sure that's right, but but I think it's for you. Who are you as a person? Like finding your own identity. Personally, because of the work that we do, I have come to the place in my life where I don't have to own things, and I'm okay with it. But I know that's for me.
Mm.
I don't have to own a house. I don't have to own something, and that has taken I have to have what others have.
Mm.
Now, if you know that social media triggers you or gives you stress because it's hard for you to see what others have, just limit how much you spend on it. Put appropriate measure or even safety around yourself
Mm.
to protect yourself from not being in a place that triggers you and make
Yeah.
you feel like you're not enough.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because it's social media is kind of scary because I would consider it as like the modern day drug for young people or young
So
adults.
ad- addicting to scroll
Just
and
keep on
scroll and
scrolling,
scroll.
scrolling, and you never know it already took like an hour or
Hours.
two or
Hours,
hours.
actually.
Yeah, hours. Especially with the new addition like the reels, the short
Mm.
stories,
Mm.
and all. So
Yeah.
pretty scary to be
Mm.
honest. But anyways, yeah, why don't we proceed to last question? Mary Rose, can you do the honors, please?
Okay. So this is our last question, Ati Chichi. How important is it to cope with stress? Because maybe some people are just taking it lightly. They don't go the process of coping up with stress. And so how important is it to cope with stress? And if you could share to us simple guide on how to, especially to our young adults, on how they can cope up with stress whenever they encounter stressors in their life.
Yes. Stress is actually quite harmful to one's health, and being able to cope with it, it's important. It's like having new skills. You need to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're always in the state of being overwhelmed.
I agree.
And you talked a little bit about the nervous system in the beginning. Then you are quite dysregulated in your nervous system. It's either you are super in a place of hypervigilance that you're constantly not at peace, or you're in a place in your nervous system, either you're collapsed. So depending on the level of stress you have. So being able to manage stress, it's so important for you to experience joy, because stress steals one's joy.
True.
You are not able to enjoy the present, not able to enjoy the things you have, because there's something in the background that is constantly there. And being able to learn ways to manage it. It's important. I personally, in the stress category, have a lot of high anxiety personally.
Mm.
Really?
Yes, I struggle with anxiety that sometimes steals my joy away.
Mm.
I know how it can be when it comes, um, when I'm in that state, I'm not able to be present. My mind is racing very fast, and it kills me a lot to be in that place. Um, but over the years, I have learned tools that can help me, to manage it. Um, some of the things that I do personally is to acknowledge what I'm feeling,
Mm.
and to name it. What is this? I can say, oh, I'm feeling sad.
Mm.
Just name it. You cannot deal with something you don't know.
Yeah.
You have to name what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And then I name it. I say, oh, I'm feeling very sad. And maybe there's an event connected to it.
Yeah.
But I give attention to myself,
Mm.
time and attention to myself. I listen to the sadness that is there. But also, again, coming back to the Lordship of Jesus, I have to say, hey, you have to submit to the Lordship of Jesus.
Mm.
My emotions needs to submit to what God is saying, the truth of who He is. That is some of the ways that I handle my stress. I talk to people. I talk to, say, friends. I say, hey, I'm feeling really sad, or and then I have really good self-care. Self-care is important to be able to handle and cope with stress.
Self-care is self-love, and it's never selfish.
Yes.
Right.
I really like when you said to acknowledge what you're feeling. I mean, it's so ironic because it's such a basic thing to do, but people tend to forget to acknowledge what they're
Yes.
feeling.
Yeah, oftentimes we tend to shove our emotions away and not listen to them, but they are always there. And they become more louder and become more noisy, and you become more restless. So being able to acknowledge that you have this sadness or you have this stress, helps to reduce the intensity because they
Yeah.
are giving time and attention.
Yeah.
Usually I tell my clients, give it time and attention. So if the pain is here at the arm, just look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Give it time. Talk to that pain. Look at it and say, hey, I know that you are here.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily remove it, but it can reduce the intensity
Mm.
of that.
Yeah. I mean, it just resonates with me so much because I've been through something like I wouldn't say well, it's more of like a stress or anxiety attack triggered by a certain event. And one way that I cope was, as what you've said, understand, acknowledge what you're feeling, and after that, finding the root cause. Because once you find the root cause of why you're feeling this, then you would be able to identify what triggers you.
Sometimes, you might not even actually find the root cause, but just acknowledging that feeling or that emotions is there, and just telling that it's going to be okay, just helps to reduce the intensity. The whole idea is to reduce the intensity of what you're feeling so that you can be present with yourself. It's just like when you hurt yourself, you often touch it like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that is called time and attention. You give yourself time and attention, and just give it some love and see how much it reduces. Notice how you feel when you practice self-care. Notice how you feel when you give yourself time and attention. Notice how you feel. When you exercise and you're stressed and you eat healthy, notice what that does to you. And have a good self-care routine, or like for example, if I have a client who doesn't know how to sleep well, you make like a sleeping plan. So have a plan to tackle your stress and put it somewhere where you can see it. This is what I do. I call a friend, I listen to good music, or I break the task into a more attainable
Yeah.
task, or I take a warm shower, or I go for a run, and notice how you feel.
There's a difference. And
Yes.
Ate Chichi, I also want to ask, how important is it to have a circle or a group, an accountability
Yes.
group that you can run to
So
whenever you're
important.
stressed?
So important to have um, a safe place. People that would always want to listen to you. Safety is so important that you have. This is my safe place. When I am troubled, I can call them, and they will listen. So there's a sense of that it removes the isolation that you
Mm.
feel in your
Mm.
stress, and then it becomes more collaborative. There's somebody there.
Mm.
And that's also what therapy does. When someone comes, it's like, oh, I can go to that person. They'll listen to me. And that safety helps to know that I am being heard and understood. Someone hears you and understands you, and you're not alone in your battle. Yeah.
And to add to that, I think that's where the church comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, there's so much more that we would like to discuss with you on this matter, but, you know, time's short. So let's keep it concise. So, but with saying that, we really appreciate you for gracing us with your presence and sharing to us your knowledge about stress, Chi Chi, and I do hope um, our viewers also enjoyed hearing about your take on stress and your knowledge as well. So,
Yes.
in saying that, guys, what are your key takeaways from what Chi Chi shared and from what psychometrician JR also
Yes,
shared?
he took it to the next level.
Yeah.
I think one of the key takeaways of our conversation today is to have your safe place. Being able
Yes.
to have these kind of conversations, especially with people whom you trust, whom you feel that you're not gonna, they will not invalidate your feelings,
Yes.
but rather have this collaborative approach, like you mentioned at Ichichi,
Yes.
and then like being part lang with a safe space, with a safe group, and discuss and purging these kinds of emotions and these
Yes.
stresses
Yeah.
outwards yourself. How about you, Mariam?
Maybe the part where Ate Chichi mentioned about confronting your stress or acknowledging that you are stressed or worried or anxious, because you can't skip to the part where you try to figure out the root cause or try to resolve your stress or your problem if you don't acknowledge that there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay.
It's
fine.
okay
part of the
not to be
process.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. And yeah, just like to share my key takeaways is eat healthy and exercise.
Important.
Very important, yeah.
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 I shouldn't let my girlfriend listen to this. She might find more reasons to get me to exercise. Hi. So yeah, thank you so much, guys.
you,
And
Thank you.
JR, why don't you take the floor in inviting our guests, our viewers to
All right. If you want more contents like this, a platform where we discuss germane topics and how we study the Bible, subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. That is the Pod Pointe. That is ThePodPointe. And we also have our Sunday service every Sunday here at One Central Hotel, 7th floor. You can also subscribe to our Facebook page. That is Crosspoint Church Cebu.
To add on to that, guys, we are on a during our Sunday service, we are on a new series on the book of Ezra.
Yes.
Ezra and Nehemiah. It's called, and if I'm not mistaken, New Beginnings.
Hopeful
Humble
in
new
the new
beginnings?
beginnings.
Hopeful in new beginnings, right? All right, yeah, hopeful in new beginnings. So it's a series not to be missed.
Yes.
Also, Kuya, I would like also to invite our, I'm not sure if invite, but if our viewers, they have questions or they want to ask someone or
Encourage, yeah.
we encourage you to message us in Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook. We would love to reply
Please,
or respond to your
please.
questions. And if you just want someone to listen to you,
Yeah,
feel
please,
free
guys.
to message us, guys.
Feel free to message us. We don't bite. And if you're more of a personal kind of person, you can come join us on our Sunday
Yeah.
service. You can just approach us, talk to us. We would love that. So yeah, and I guess that's it.
That's a wrap.
Yes.
That's a wrap. So once again, thank you, Chichi.
Thank you.
Marianne.
Thank you.
JR.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening in, and see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. What's up, everybody? The Pod Pointe family would like to hear from you. If you want to share or ask something about our episodes, or if you want to suggest a topic for next discussion, please, you can send us an email to thepodpointcebu@gmail.com. It is the Pod Pointe's mission to point today's young adults to Jesus. We hope that our podcast gives them the encouragement and teachings they need in facing their life issues. So, we would love you to share this episode to your friends and family. Also, please follow and rate our Spotify account. This will surely help us reach more people on this platform. I will end with a verse. Psalm 115, verse 1. Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name give glory. For the sake of your steadfast love and your faithfulness. See you all!